It's getting pretty interesting. Let's talk about crypto in 2024. What kind of year we can expect? How high Bitcoin could potentially go? Will altcoins follow? When will altcoins follow? Is this time different? How to position yourself best? A lot. Let's discuss that. So welcome to the Fomo Factory. Like the video if you like the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done already. Don't forget to turn the bell notifications on because things are getting very interesting and now is the time. We have to move quickly if we really want to make the most out of this. There is no more time for sitting back, relax, waiting. We have to be right on top of it. Now, yeah, like I said, let's talk about what's about to happen. Let's talk about what I think is going to happen, of course, and what's about to happen could be something completely different. Hey, the first thing is that I admitted I just don't know, right? But we can speculate. That's what we can all do in this crypto market, and maybe one day someone will be right and be like, "Oh, I'm the crypto guru," and it's like, no, it's we can just do our analysis right here. First thing, what I find interesting is this. We all know this sheet, right? The path to Altseason. How the money flows from one certain asset within crypto into another one. And usually, so far, is phase one Bitcoin. The money flows into Bitcoin. Bitcoin goes up and everybody is interested in Bitcoin. Phase two is Ethereum. Ethereum is outperforming in Bitcoin, and we hear Ethereum is outperforming Bitcoin, and we hear talks of the flippening. Right now, that's definitely not what's been happening so far. Money is starting to trickle into the large caps where we see large buy-ups happening. Then, really the large caps, Ethereum has been outperforming Bitcoin and large caps are going parabolic. Think about the Solanas, the AVAX, the BNBs, etc. And then we're going to flow all that money into the rest of the altcoin market. And if we have like $200 billion into Bitcoin, right? That's a lot, but like it's not gonna make Bitcoin go absolutely crazy parabolic. Yeah, if you have $200 billion in some small caps, yeah, then these can fly, of course, right? So it's the same money, but it depends on where it is going. Now, is this accurate so far? Well, so far it stands out to me that this is completely inaccurate, but it might now happen, right? Like, you first have Bitcoin. So let's take a look at Bitcoin first, right? We have Bitcoin on the week. So if you look at this, Bitcoin has been going up since November 2022. We're now at January 2024. 2023 was basically bullish only against my expectations. Sorry, I'm so Dutch. Why? Well, 2023 is the pre-halving year, and so far what we have seen in every pre-halving year, like 2019, we go up, and the rest of the year we go down. Here the pre-halving year was 2015, we go up, and the rest of the year we go down. And even before that, this time was different. Yes, I'm not a fan of saying this time is different before it is, but it turned out that this time was actually different. So could other things be different? Well, if we look at this, Bitcoin up, then it should move to Ethereum. Well, Ethereum from beginning of, the same period, it has been going up, right? It has been going up, but in the same period, basically. And Ethereum is like really lagging. It just broke above its April high. Well, if you look at Bitcoin, the April high, that was $15,000 ago, basically. What's also interesting is if you look at it on the on the yearly chart. If you look on the yearly chart, Bitcoin last year was up 155%, right? If you, however, look at Ethereum, 90%. But if you look at altcoins, 182%. So altcoins outside of the top 10, this is the other chart, so outside of the top 10, were the outperformers last year. And the second half of the year, they were catching up. Bitcoin was the winner in the first half of 2023. And in the second half of the year, altcoins felt like, okay, Bitcoin ran hard, give us some money, and they ran, of course, harder because of that. But it's not that, like within the sheet, as you see, it's Bitcoin, Ethereum, large caps. It's basically Bitcoin, large caps, and smaller caps. Ethereum, they skipped Ethereum. So maybe it is this sheet hasn't begun yet, because usually this is how the money flows. Definitely, maybe this year this is going to start. My expectation is that we will see an alt season end of 2024. Maybe beginning 2025, but I think we will have to wait for the rest of the year to see an alt season. For a lot of people, they might get a little confused because a lot of altcoins just went up pretty hard. And they'll be like, yeah, but haven't we already seen an alt season? No, we haven't seen an alt season. An alt season is where altcoins heavily outperform Bitcoin. Well, again, if you take a look over completely 2023, altcoins, if you include every altcoin, so we look at the total three, yeah, the total three just went up with 72%, right? That's like not a lot. And if you then look at Bitcoin, again, 155%. If you look at altcoins, excluding the top 10, so excluding some stables, excluding Solana, Cardano, I think Dogecoin is there. But then they outperformed a little bit by 30%. Well, yeah, that's like 30% outperformance. You cannot really call that an alt season. Alt season is where altcoins really outperform Bitcoin. Therefore, there's one simple chart to see if it's an alt season, and that's the Bitcoin dominance, right? The Bitcoin dominance shows if Bitcoin is dominating the crypto space compared to every other asset out there. If the chart goes up, it means Bitcoin is outperforming. If the chart goes down, it means Bitcoin is underperforming. Whenever the chart goes down, that's an alt season. Then Bitcoin is underperforming compared to the rest. Now, this has been going up. So although some altcoins have outperformed Bitcoin by a lot, right? Most altcoins haven't. And that's mostly because of Ethereum. Because if you look at Ethereum, it has been bleeding quite hard against Bitcoin. It has lost, well, like from the top, I think close to 45%. Close enough, 45.6%. It lost against Bitcoin. So ever since the bear market started, it wasn't really a good idea to be in Ethereum. Ethereum lost against Bitcoin. So you could have better been in Bitcoin. You would have had twice as much profits, really. So when will an alt season start, in my opinion? Well, I talked about this a couple of times, so I don't want to make this too long. But if you look at a monthly chart, this is not based on a lot of history. But if you look, the white lines are the halvings, the previous halvings. We had the halving here, and 8 bars, and 1 bar is 1 month. So 8 months later, you see that the Bitcoin dominance started to drop. That's where alt season started. Again, here we had an alt season, and exactly 8 months later, you see that the Bitcoin dominance started to drop. Right, so based on that, right, but again, that's just 2, it's 2 out of 2, but still, it's just 2. But based out of that, we could say like, hey, okay, yeah, well, if we have the halving in April, 8 months later, it's December, alt season, right? Now, of course, it could be 6 months, it could be 10 months. That's a difference and some room I can play with. But I wouldn't say like, hey, there's going to be 7 months difference, like alt season next month. That's too far off without any good reasons. What could be the narrative? Well, the Bitcoin ETF. We had you've seen it all over the place, so I'm not going to waste too much time on it. But the SEC Twitter page and the fake news about the ETF again. Now let's take a look what what impact that had, because it was again very short-lived news. But we can maybe see what happened. I was asleep, so I wasn't even here. A lot of people were like, oh no, oh, like stress. Like I was just sleeping. I had no idea. I woke up and I saw like, oh, fake news. And I was like, what was the fake news? Oh, the ETF. Okay, I don't care. We'll see. I don't know why someone would do that, by the way, but whatever. But I do think that we will see an alt season end of the year based on this. Also based on the fact that if we do get the Bitcoin ETF, hey, that's bullish in like directly bullish for Bitcoin. It's literally a Bitcoin ETF. Okay, it's not a Pepe ETF or a whatever, right? Eventually the money will flow from Bitcoin into altcoins. Yes. But in first instance, it's bullish for Bitcoin. A couple of months, we also had the fake news, and we have seen that the Bitcoin dominance was spiking up because of that, right? It was spiking up pretty hard. So you can only imagine that if we really get the ETF, which may happen today, and maybe multiples, maybe one, I don't know, but that, you know, the Bitcoin dominance goes up again. Let's take a quick look at what happened last night when we had the fake news. So let's put it on the hour chart. Yeah, you can see that it didn't do much. But it's funny that once we got the fake news right here, it spiked up quite like not by much. And what's interesting is that once it turned out that it was fake news, people were like, "Fuck you, Bitcoin! I'm going to altcoins." And all of a sudden, Bitcoin it dumped, and Ethereum is now catching up a little bit on the shorter time frame. So it's like people think like, okay, whatever, fuck this Bitcoin ETF, because there will also be an Ethereum ETF probably, right? It's like mid 2024, but nobody is talking about that right now. Let's first focus on the Bitcoin ETF. I completely agree, but Ethereum, like, yeah, it had an ICO, and it's like not. I don't know. Bitcoin ETF, if you would ask me, will it come? I will try. I would say yes. Like that's almost guaranteed right now. Ethereum ETF, likely, but I don't know. I don't try to. I don't dare to say anything about that. Let's just see. I have no idea. It's not my specialism. I don't know shit about that. But it would be really bullish for the market. And I can assume that like an Ethereum ETF will be more bullish for altcoins than a Bitcoin ETF. Why? Because Ethereum is an altcoin, right? It's Bitcoin versus the rest. Now, of course, like Ethereum is a blue chip, right? But it's still an altcoin. Every coin except Bitcoin is an altcoin. So if that comes later the year, that would be the narrative for an alt season, maybe. It always lines up so beautiful. It's all the cycle plays out again, and it all lines up. One thing though, shorter term Bitcoin. Let's take a look at this chart on the week, whatever, on the week. So what is happening with Bitcoin right now? Well, what's interesting is it moves in ranges, right? It's interesting because look at this. If you take the first range, let's say from here to here, this was range one, right? We broke below it for a while, but this was basically the range. Okay. However, we were also ranging here for a while. We broke above it. Okay. Now it looks like we are ranging. Yeah, it's like kind of, right? Could it be that this is now the range, right? So we first do this. We break above. We range again. We break above. We range again, and then we break above. If that's the case, then it's a bullish pattern because it steps up every time. But still, if it goes to the lower side of the range, that would be 31K, right? Now, is that maybe a little too bearish? I don't know, man. I mean, it is crypto, and I know in the bull market it is very. If you are bearish in a bull market, people be like, I can't believe it, but it's bullish. It's a bull market. It's up only, right? I don't know. Bearish stuff could still happen in a bull market, right? The biggest corrections in crypto happen during a bull market. And I mean, this is not a correction, right? This is a bear market. This is not a correction. This is actually just a fucking dump like crazy, the wreck city, right? But if you look at sideways movements, for example, like this, hey, here we went sideways for a while. This was sideways movement of 16%, for example. This was a big one, by the way, 36%. But overall, in a sideways market, you have these drawdowns of like 20%, 16%. It's okay. In a bull market, it could be way more, right? Here, for example, we were in a full-blown bull market, but still, we had a correction of a couple of weeks of 30%, right? In the last, in this bull market, look, this we can all agree, like this is a boom. This was a bull market, right? But still, in the middle of the bull market, 40% correction in a couple of weeks, wrecked, right? So my point is that even if this is the bull market that we are all talking about, then this 30% correction that we could have is nothing exceptional. Nothing. Totally not. In fact, it would be really good. Would be really good. Why? A lot of people, they're still on the sideline, probably. They are not allocated at all, right? And they are waiting. They are waiting. And they are not waiting for like a 5% correction. They're waiting for a good pullback to get in. So a lot of people are not in the market yet. Right, so at a certain point, whatever, maybe the ETFs get rejected for all I know, whatever the reason is, at a certain point we might get a pullback, and these people on the sideline be like, okay, let's step in, and then we can go up even harder. Therefore, people say like, hey, it's a healthy correction. Yeah, I always wondered like, why is it healthy? I mean, I don't mind going unhealthy like this, right? But it's healthy because we need to do this before we can do this, so the rest of the people can step in as well, right? And especially the big institutions, the rich people, yeah, they are not buying the top. They're smarter than buying a 150% pump without basically any big correction. We had a little correction right here of 18% or so. It's nothing too crazy. But yeah, now it could be that Bitcoin is just ranging, right? I mean, it's what we are seeing so far. It's what we are seeing. So hey, could be. Yeah, again, when it comes to Altseason, it is interesting. The Bitcoin dominance is strong, but it's also struggling. Then again, the Bitcoin dominance, we went up, and here from January 16 until March 13, so almost 2 months, we were going sideways, even little down, and we were still on a bullish trend. Here we really went sideways, but here again, June 19 until August 2021, again 2 months, we were going down. Right, and then we went up again, and now from October 30 until today, basically, also kind of like November, December, January. Okay, 3 months, fair enough. Going kind of sideways, not even down that hard, but just sideways. Right, it is still an uptrend, although we broke this trend line. Yeah, depending on how you look at it, because if I draw it correctly, yeah, we broke below it. Bull market support band was there to save us, and we broke above it again, and now we're retesting it, looks like. So Bitcoin is still dominating, and I must say, like, as long as this ETF speculation is going on, I don't see that change, to be honest. And if we actually do get the ETF, I expect it to give it its final push up, and altcoins could bleed against Bitcoin. Now, that's what we talked about a lot. Altcoins bleeding against Bitcoin doesn't mean altcoins bleeding against the dollar, right? If Bitcoin now goes to like $60,000 and the dominance goes to 60%, yeah, altcoins go down hard on their Bitcoin pair, but they go up hard against their dollar pair. But at a certain point, what you want to see if you're bullish on altcoins is the Bitcoin dominance to go down, because the danger is that altcoins are holding up on the dollar pair right now because Bitcoin is holding up, right? Because the dominance is up. So altcoins are losing against Bitcoin. But it's because Bitcoin is going up that altcoins are holding up. What the danger is that if Bitcoin now takes a good hit or correction or whatever, altcoins will bleed 3 times as hard as usual. So altcoins look strong. Um, and they will stay like that as long as Bitcoin is holding up. But keep in mind, if Bitcoin takes a good hit, altcoins are gonna get slapped down really hard. And yeah, see that as an opportunity, as a chance. Like a lot of people, unfortunately, I made a poll, and a lot of people are already fully into the market, no cash on the sideline. Yeah, that's good. If you want to take a term, how do you say that? A hit for now, and you don't mind losing like maybe 40% of your portfolio in the short term, hey, be my guest, right? Like if you have that long-term mindset, whatever. But it's maybe good to scalp up a little bit on the dips. That's what I will do at least. If you look at altcoins on their Bitcoin pair, so for the people that have Bitcoin in their portfolio, they made a nice profit. And if you at a certain point feel like, okay, let's buy some altcoins with it, well, this is the chart, and I must say that it is holding up. Like we had a lot of resistance right here, a lot of support right here. So of course the support is not to be broken that easy, but altcoins are looking very weak in my opinion, because the bull market support band is slapping it down. We had a good push up, but we fell right below it, and we are hanging on this support. So it looks like a lot of altcoins are about to make new lows on their Bitcoin pair. And yeah, I'm saving some Bitcoin for when that happens. It could definitely go back in this region, and that's an opportunity of a lifetime, to be honest. Because you already, if we are here, made money on your Bitcoin, then you buy the lows on altcoins, and then when alt season finally starts, whenever it might be, you can ride that wave up. So you kind of ride two bull markets in one bull market, and that's in my opinion a good strategy, because all this time you have been in Bitcoin, right? Not in altcoins. Now altcoins went down against Bitcoin, so that was a good move. And then at a certain point around the lows, you will convert it and then ride it up again. Definitely not bad. If we do take a look at the total crypto market, then yeah, still super bullish. Super bullish, by the way, really. Like we are in this strong uptrend right here. We had some major resistance. As you can see, we had big spikes down in 2021. We tested it here in 2022 as well. Once we were in the accumulation phase of this market, we tested it at resistance for many times, from August 2022 up till like August 2023, basically, right? A year of resistance after a year of support. And now we broke it, right? We broke it. So, you know, we are now above it. We can go down with like 10% or so. But we already did that a couple of times and retested it successfully. So the total crypto market looks quite strong. Of course, if there's a black swan or anything, this means nothing, right? But overall, then yeah, then charting has no use if you think like that. But this is looking quite bullish. Now, I must say that it is sitting at some big resistance right now. As you can see right here, we had some big spikes. We had some big spikes right here. We had some major support right here, and we are now sitting there again. So it could be that now it's a small range, but that this is going to be the range for a while, right? That the market just keeps on ranging for a while, and then we'll see where it goes. Breaks up to the upside, to the downside. Overall, I don't think that this is a distribution phase. I do think that this is more like an accumulation phase before we have a new leg up, but it does not mean that we cannot do this very short term and then go back up, right? It doesn't mean that. We can still do that. I have been very outspoken about big pullbacks, but I also see the strength of the market. I just need to admit that the market is super unpredictable at this point. It's super unpredictable. Cycle-wise, I would say a big pullback is super expected, cycle-wise, right? But then again, in some cases, the cycle is already playing out a little bit different than that it used to do. Why didn't I? Oh, sorry for that. I need to have this thing right here. It's just looking super professional. I paid like $10 on Fiverr, and it's like, wow. So that's good. Ethereum, yeah, Ethereum is again, it is lagging a little bit, but it wants to push up. It wants to push up, and also it's now sitting at some resistance. Well, almost sitting at some resistance. I think it's more like $2,500 is the big resistance area for Ethereum. And if we do see a good pullback for Ethereum, it should be around like $2,000. So. Hey, again, also, it could be just a new range, right? Like we had a range right here for Ethereum as well. What was it like? That this was the range for Ethereum, and now we find a new range. Maybe we'll find a new range after this from $2,500 up till 3K, give or take. So overall, I think it's good to have a position in cash as well. Be a little prepared for both scenarios. It is unpredictable. Overall, we are in the halving year that usually is a very bullish year, but then again, yeah, like I said, like the pre-halving year usually is first bullish, then bearish. Well, we only seen bullishness, so that was a little different. Yeah, then we can also say like, hey, the halving year is usually bullish, but yeah, if the year before that was different, maybe this time it's different, and maybe this time turns out to be a little bit more bearish because we already had the bullish momentum, and then 2025 is going to be the real explosive bull market. Overall, if you do not have positions, I had some questions like, hey, I'm not in the market, what should I do? I should just, if I wasn't in the market, let me put it like that, I would just DCA into it because you never know. Bitcoin might as well go to 100K this year, and it might go to 30. I don't know. We can all speculate, but we don't know, and therefore DCA is always the best answer. So I want to leave it right here. Like the video if you like the video. Like the video if you like the video. Subscribe to the channel. Turn the bell notification on. Tomorrow I'm gonna drop a video about 5 unreleased upcoming gaming coins and projects, which I think are going to do fantastic. So stay tuned for that.